Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me back here on the Roomy Alliance. Once again, I am the Mule, and we are in Swords of Legends Online, answering the big question, how did we get here? And of course, I am talking about the population numbers, and if you're like me, and you started playing when this game launched, or even before it, your friends list probably looks something like this. Offline for 90 days. What happened 90 days ago is the game launched with the most pathetic joke of a translation that has ever been released for a game that was supposed to be on the scale of a massively multiplayer online game. Well, it sucked. And, I mean, if you found a part that was actually translated when they told us it wasn't going to have any untranslated parts when they launched it, which was total bullshit. Much of what they told us was bullshit. I mean, I don't know what you would expect from Gameforge. Oh, hi, cat. Is, well, a company that, while you would like to think they aren't just trying to grab money, is pretty much all they did, is grab your cash. Now, even now, there's some stuff in this game that makes it hard to play because you need to go to the wiki to figure out how to do anything in this game. Because just reading, what the fuck? Your skill descriptions, I can't do that in this spot. It's hard to even figure out what your abilities do. I mean, I had a big, nice debate forever ago. I mean, there's no more bards left playing this game to talk to about Epic Mirror Heart, which says at the bottom, increases magic power by 20%. If you've ever played a video game before, you'd probably think that using that ability would increase this value by 20% for however long. Weird. That didn't do shit. What does it do? It increases my magic power bonus from 22 to 42%. My total magic attack is what increases. It has nothing to do with my actual magic power stat. So, is playing this game easy when none of the shit is translated properly? No. And why would you struggle fuck your way through it just to play this game? I mean, there's no reason to deal with it. And that's why so many people left at the beginning. Now, the other thing I have to talk about, because it just wouldn't be fair if you didn't talk about it when you're talking about Swords of Legend, is the FPS. You can see it nice and clear here, just standing in Cloud Rise, the main city, with these guys around. I get a solid 20 FPS. Now, when I go out to do the World PvP event, I mean, I have a video of it where I get a solid, like, 8 FPS. And my ping is jumping up over a few hundred, and I just die in the middle of my skills when I should be immune to damage, is unforgivable. The game runs like shit, and you were just outside. Yes, you were. Completely understandable that people just wouldn't want to play a game like that. I mean, the world PvP is something that I've had a lot of fun doing in this game. But when you're fighting somebody whose ping is, 600 because they're on the West Coast, and your ping is jumping all over the place, and one of you just explodes randomly because your spells aren't seemingly doing anything until they all catch up with the server and it pops, that's an awful experience. And you can't be successful with that kind of thing. And part of it is the game. Obviously, the frames and the poor running of the game is the game and not Gameforge. But I would be impressed if Gameforge spent more than as little as possible on their servers as they could. Because I don't think they care. Because they haven't spent money on the things that matter. And that brings me to my second point. The worst part of this game is the player base. If you were like me and you were playing this, like the third week, there were groups that required you to have level 60 gear. And these groups were asking you to have full level 60 gear to get in. And this is like just right after the game launched. To get into the hard mode group, fully geared hard mode gear required. And it was just off-putting. And then the same thing happened. The Jade Palace opened, it dropped some 75 stuff. Very next week, groups requiring you to have a 70 gear score. When, you know, people like me, who got like a single drop, and were being told, no, you don't have the gear to run that. What the heck? But I also want to talk about, like, just the spam, the overall trolling, the racism, just the vile, disgusting shit that was being spewed out in the World channel and the Bard channel or whatever class channels. And you'd log in, you'd see the same guy the next day spamming the same stuff. You go into PvP, people have these macros that are like, I come on your face, get shit on, you stupid bitch, and stuff. Just part of their macros. And, you know, you report them. You go in the next day, and there everybody is, doing the same thing again. Spamming their racist, other viral crap. The most toxic game on the internet has to be Swords of Legends Online right now. Like, you could not find a worse group of people to play with than these guys. And the problem is that Gameforge just, I guess, wanted this to be the only group of people, because they do not employ a single game master for this game. And if you tried to tell me otherwise, I'd call bullshit. Because there is no way that they have game masters looking through any reports or tickets of this game. They might have a single customer service guy working at Gameforge, but they don't have game masters moderating this. Ugh, it's gross. It's really gross, honestly. Before I move on from this point again, I just wanted to go back to the toxic groups. And anybody that thinks otherwise, I challenge you to make a new tank and try and level it through all the content. And just see how quickly people will come to you and tell you that you are complete garbage, to quit the game, to quit life, and they'll kick you from the group because these people don't have time in their day to spend an extra 5 minutes in a normal dungeon while you figure out how to pull trash or anything. Everyone will just run past you and start pulling everything. And when people die, they'll start blaming it on everybody else. Just because some douchebag can't handle, you know, not clearing the dungeon in 5 minutes. Moving on to the next thing, I want to talk about PvP in this game. Because honestly, it was one of the things I was most excited to play in this game, was this action-based PvP. It's really cool, it's fun. But we have these two battlegrounds, right? The Battle of the Continent, they're the 5 elements in Fort Haichao, and they suck, and they have weird rules, and I'm sure nobody even understands how these two battlegrounds actually work, because they haven't taken the time to actually read these crappy tooltips. Land of Emerald Clouds. I am personally floored and amazed that they made personal matchmaking for this, which should have happened before the game launched, because asking 6 people to make 5-man groups is, I don't know, a stretch, and it was a stretch to even make groups for it. Devs couldn't even do it. The devs. Gameforge team couldn't even get people into the groups to do it when they were trying to do their streams to promote the game. Kind of sad, and shows you just how stupid that was. But in arenas too, PvP, you queue in to battle the continents, right? And then your other teams have pre-made, and your guys are the pugs, and they know they're the pugs. So you have 3 people that are just going to stand there at the entrance and die and talk shit to you the entire time. And then the other team is just going to be spamming their emotes and just slam dunking on your team the entire time. And the best part about it is that they can also talk in general chat and local chat to you and shit talk how bad you guys are, and they will, because that's what they get off to. And it's the same thing in Arena. Your opponents can talk to you before, during, and after the game, which most games like WoW turned off because they know how toxic that is, because it's such a bad idea. But now, you can't even find PvP below 2,000, which is fantastic. Because I used to be able to group up with real players and not have to fight with bots against bots. But now that's how it works until you hit 2,000 rating. And then everybody's in the same pool. So you'll get to play against, Glizzy, the top-rated 2,800 team over here, these guys. And gear does matter in PvP Arena, so you as a new guy who just fought bots for the last, 20, 30 hours, you can't get a bot battle also until you've waited for 15 minutes in queue. So I don't know how many hours that would take if you get 15 points per game, but it's just a complete joke. And they thought this would increase activity in PvP, because now these top players can actually find people to play against. But it's just them destroying noobs. It's a really strange idea that they had, and just makes PvP even worse in this game that has just terrible everything involving just player interaction. Alright, so last thing, obviously, you gotta look at the charts. And I know everybody that defends this game is going to say that those are garbage, and that people that don't play this game anymore are going to be like, yeah, obviously the Steam charts. But you can actually see some things that maybe you didn't know you could see, which is the peaks on Thursdays at 2 p.m. my time, which is actually 9 p.m. in Germany, which is obviously to say that the largest portion of players for this game is EU. I'd say that the EU status of this game is probably pretty healthy, actually. And as I understand it, the toxicity and all this other crazy shit I've talked to, it's probably people who play on the EU servers who don't think this exists, because I don't think it is a problem over there, oddly enough. And I think it's really something you'd only find on the NA servers. And you can find NA peak time, which is this right here, where it plateaus a bit before everybody goes to bed and nobody's playing. But those are like 700 last week, and right now it's like, let's just refresh it, like 600. And this week we're at 1250, where Thursday was 1,500. So, I mean, it had been dropping about 100 players every week for both of these. So that's 750, and now we're at, like 650. So every week, 100 players disappear. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, but they're all playing on the Gameforge one. Go to Reddit and find the poll that they did, which I guess, obviously a poll can be skewed. But it was like 60 to 70% of the people that played this game, or had played this game, out of, the original numbers, were on the Steam launcher. Which you could say that maybe now half, or maybe more than half of the people that play are from the Gameforge launcher, because, the hardcore players, I mean, shit, I can walk around and see everybody's wearing these paid DLC costumes, so, I mean, maybe now more people are, or it's maybe closer to 50-50 playing on the Gameforge Steam launchers, but you also have to remember that, maybe 3/4 to 2/3 of these players are actually EU players. So, when you do double this, 3,000, that's 3,000 peak players in EU. You probably have a third of that. 1,000 players peak time. Now it's like 800. It's like 2,500. A third of that. Yeah, like 700 players. But this is NA peak time. You got a third of 1,200. So you got like 400 people playing this game on NA, which is enough on Thursdays and Friday nights to run all your content that you want, which is what people will tell you. And yeah, I don't think the game is dead. Not yet. But I think it will die. And it will be dead very soon. Especially for North America. Like, all you got are people like me that log in like every other week. And then try and play the game. And then like not get loot again. And then still not get into the next tier of raids. Because, no, fuck it. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. This game, before my last thing, before I get off the internet, this is Return of Reckoning, Warhammer Online. Has 400 players at the same time this game has, you know, I guess double that. But this is just one server of a 20-year-old video game that still gets played. It's wild to me. But I know my video capture is all kind of weird right now. But, like, this game actively wants the people to game it, and like it works against the players so well. And it's just like one thing, and all you gotta say is the loot in this game, and that'll point to just so many problems. And one thing you can point to along with loot is like increasing your fortune, and that includes increasing your good chi, which decreases every day down to this 50. It's so bad the way you have to game things against the game to play the game. What in the fuck were those guys thinking over there in China when they did this shit? Or they just... I guess it plays to this idea of this Chinese fantasy. But, I mean, it just doesn't appeal to Western players, I don't think. I don't think anyone that raids hardcore in this game thinks that the fortune and the good chi is a good idea. Like, how is this helpful to the game, having this extra fortune buff to get raid loot? Like, seriously. Mind-blowing. But yeah, that's Gameforge, and that's Swords of Legends Online. I would absolutely not recommend this game to anybody for any fucking reason to play right now. And if you did play this and you're thinking about coming back in the future, well, that future's not yet. Keep it on your shelf or uninstalled for now, and wait until maybe the new classes are released and there's some bigger changes than what we've got, because this, you don't need to get excited or worried about this. It's a joke. And that's Swords of Legends. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.